Alors, il n'y a pas, je pense, de meilleur hommage à faire à quelqu'un que de montrer son influence. Je l'ai fait en ce qui concerne les représentations sociales, en montrant l'influence de Moscovici et du modèle des représentations dans les sciences sociales. Et je vais essayer de le faire aujourd'hui autour de deux pratiques sociales d'intervention et d'application des représentations. Alors I will try to speak English, and my text is in English, but a Googled English. Hein? So, the success of the ideas of Moscovici concerning the social representation is largely due to their contribution to the action in social field. And these have been marked and illustrated particularly by the expansion of the studies of social representation in Latin American countries. Among the functions attributed to social representation, Moscovici has underlined the orientation of action and communication. If the study of communication is a fundamental theme of the social psychology, the same don't go for action that has been scarcely developed in spite of the orientation fixed and the interest shown by Moscovici from his principes, la psychanalyse, son image et son public. Certainly, there have been discussion and theoretical advances about the relationship between representation and practice and the cycle of their interaction. Certainly, there are researches about the adoption of certain practices in the space of work, leisure, health, or of decisive or controversial sector of the social life, such as education, environment, etc. But we have less approached the question of the mutual contribution under the theoretical and empirical angle, resulting from an approach of the social representation in the specific field of application and intervention. It seems to me important, as we think about the future of the Moscovician inspirations, to examine in what ways the approach of social representation is necessary for the development of knowledge and action in essential social domains, in what way the use of this theoretical model can enrich the practices of application and intervention in the social field, in what way these practices can contribute to a progress in the theoretical reflection around the social representations. I will try to tackle these texts about two important fields, those of health and education. The choice of these two fields is justified for two reasons. It is about them that have been developed specific researches involving explicitly the notion of social representation and the phenomena that it subsumes. More important, nevertheless, is the fact that these two fields of application and intervention have a logical and historical link with the approach of social representation. It is about the field of health and education that the notion of social representation asserted itself as a fertile referent, closely associated since their creation. In the health domain, the logical and historical link is evident. The theory of social representation has been formulated for the first time around a question related to mental health, la psychanalyse, with the text of Moscovici in 1961. The first research inspired by the Moscovici's model concerned health and the disease with the work of Claudine Ehrlich, Représentation de la santé et de la maladie. And it was followed by an important group of researches on body and health, in particular Markova et Farr in 1994, Uwe Flick in 1992, moi-même en 1984, 89, Petrio en 2000, et all the series of studies that are actually pursued in the different laboratories, at least in France. In all these works, representation has been studied from several points of view. First, in a global perspective, by the exploration of the meanings that the notion of health and disease receive in the public. The conception of the disease genesis, of their consequences for the social roles and life of the people. These conceptions were also studied from a historic or social point of view on relation with their emblematic value, as shown Erlis Seppleret, or their metaphoric value, as shown by Suzanne Sontag. Second, these researches have been centered, other researches have been centered on specific diseases, such as cancer, AIDS, etc., or on specific practices of health promotion, disease prevention, contraception, feeding, organ donation, etc., in order to study their social history or the representation shared by the sick or healthy people. A third trend shows the attention oriented on the representation of people suffering from disease or from handicaps, giving evidence to attitude expressed towards them, such as the imputation or not of a personal responsibility for their state, the stigmatization of which they are the object, the feelings of compassion and pity that they arise, the relation of solidarity and care established with them. The logical link between representation and health domain appears particularly in the social sciences. In history, social and collective representations receive a prominent role in the development and the social culture or cultural treatment of questions related to physical life, as exemplified by the works of Corbin, Vigarello, etc. The field of study of phenomena related to health and disease, practices, knowledge and belief system, therapeutic institution and agent, has furnished, together with religious belief and practices, means to think about the social life and the social organization. Thus, in sociology, the study of practices and attitude of the actor within health system appeared as a way to improve the comprehension of problem and social processes more general. In anthropology, the interpretative models of disease, therapy, and related institutions have a link with the social and political structuring and give access to it. Finally, the researchers in social sciences, because of their critical posture, have often served as inspiration to indicate and overpass the limits of a purely biomedical approach or the inadequacies of institutions inspired by the technico-scientist model of medicine. They have underlined the necessity to change the health system, the relation between healers and patients, and to establish new model of therapeutic education. They give evidence of the importance of the proposals offered by Moscovici and underline the necessity to take in account in their application the whole system offered by the institutional frame, the position of its actor on a subjective and social level, the importance of the ethical and historical point of view in the analysis of practices and way of thinking. This holistic point of view appears today as a way to improve the researches inspired by the Moscovici's model. If we look at the application of this model in the domain of education, it is enough to remind that the inventor of the notion of collective representation, the inspirer of the theory of the social representation, as says Moscovici, Émile Durkheim, was also the initiator of the science of education that he has opened in his lesson, lessons in the Sorbonne in 1902. Durkheim defines the science of education as something intermediate between the art and the science, a practical theory, the purpose of which is to guide the conduct. There is in this proposal something that moves closer to us, social representation, which are also practical theories. The logical link is asserted by Alvax in his foreword to the work of Durkheim, The Educational Evolution in French, published in 1938. Alvax says, the organs of the education are always in touch with the other institutions of society, with the customs and the beliefs, with the great currents of ideas. This inscription of the sciences of education in the institutional, intellectual, and ideological context of an historical epoch throws a lighting useful for the understanding of the text in the introduction of new educational forms. On the one hand, the therapeutic education, which allows to establish a link with the field of the health. On the other hand, the development of knowledge regarding formation, where we notice a concern for the consideration of representation, as said by Assal, and the presence of a consensual use of the notion of representation and social representation in the reflection on the various sectors and the aspect of the formation, as says Barbiez et al. The study in the case of social representation in the case of application is completed by the part which is recognized in the models of intervention. In the human sciences, the notion of intervention is taken in a relatively consensual meaning, that is, a practice which, following Lewin principle, no action without research, no research without action, corresponds to an explicit and a deliberate project of action centered on change, as says Dubost. It is based on a search to seize, at diverse levels of investigation, all the elements of a field in which the activity of a subject spread, be this subject individual or collective, as say Arduino. This in the sense of favoring the transformation for the best of the subject. It can have as such an anti-authority, reformist, and adaptive aim. The concern related to a practice of intervention is linked to the desire to modify the state of a field of action and transform the behaviors of its actors towards improved adaptation or satisfaction. In this regard, the theory of social representation offers openings. The definition of social representation as a filter through which to read the world, a guide of action, and an orientation of behavior and communication can induce a reasonable objective of utilize the theory's achievement in order to encourage a change based on the modification of the way people see their life. The case is even more evident in psychosociological or sociological models, specifically devoted to practices that aim at change in defined social spaces, institutions, organizations, social movements, communities, etc. The latter as the basis of concrete groups to which individuals pertain. They ensure mediation between personal and group life. Intervention thus appears both at the end and the means of scientists whose methodology takes the form of research action. The objectives of these research actions are different. Some want to solve concrete problems experienced by social subjects and develop democracy in organizations and communities, as Lewin advocated. Others want to respond to social demands or to encourage social progress through the adoption of practices related to public politics, as in the case of health, or to contribute to the empowerment of individuals and groups who are alienated in their work or socially unprivileged, dominated, or oppressed, or to accomplish political goals, etc. Psychosociologists consider that the space of intervention, as say Juste Despréry, implies, before anything, a method of reshaping representations, positions, and behaviors based on an elaboration of their meanings. What changes in the view of the social actor on situation, on themselves and on others, which find itself displaced by the work of elucidation? In this sense, says Juste Despréry, it would be more adequate to use the term of mobility, mobility of representation, of thought, and consequently of practice. So, all these perspectives on intervention in favor of social change, no matter what the scale is, assume reference to social representation to be l'effort of knowledge and support for identification. To illustrate this assumption, we can simply consider the way by which community psychology, liberation psychology, sociology of social movement make reference to phenomena alluding to social representation. Fals Borda, Paulo Freire, Ignacio Martín Baró in America Latina, Alain Touraine in France, to name only the most important, emphasize that all social intervention whose objective is social transformation depends on groups' potentialities, among which figures their proper knowledge. All intervention focused on change of social reality imply an emphasis on popular knowledge, the necessity of taking it into account in the interaction between the researchers and the social groups. Also appears the importance of work on lay form of knowledge in terms of consciousness raising and formulation of necessities and identities. Such positions represent a challenge for the approach of social representation and force us to reflect upon the form of a more organic integration in the process of their integration in the process of intervention. The psychosociological and sociological model assume social representation to be linked to social behavior or object of manipulation, but they neither analyze their dynamic nor consider them as complex systems of thought encompassing subjectivity in relation to others and society in a defined context. It is in this point that we can find an improvement in the psychosociological approach of application and intervention, as well as in the study of social representation. With this objective, we must take into account the subjective stance of experience interwoven with the position of the subject within the specific frame of action in the definite time of their life and of their historical context. I have developed elsewhere the questions that arise from the consideration of the application and intervention for the enrichment of social representation studies. The time of this communication does not allow to go further. You can look at some chapter in the book of directed by Ana Maria de Rosa, Social Representation in the Social Arena, published in Routledge. I would just now remind that a complete approach of social representation calls for a holistic approach of the point of view of the subject as established on the basis of his or her life experience through his or her interaction with others in a context that integrates the constraints of his position in a system of action and the model or injunction that constitute the transsubjective sphere of his or her existence. This holistic perspective can only improve a true and complete approach and understanding of social action and social conduct. Thank you.